How's it, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another modding guide. This time it's for Resident Evil 4, which is the video you're watching right now. I'm also recording this in 1080p so that some viewers can actually see what's going on. And I think I'm getting tired of doing extra editing of zooming in and zooming out. So having your game look like the modded version in my video, you will need Reshade, but not the latest Reshade. The latest Reshade at the moment is 5.5.2. This does not work. Well, it does work, but it's a bit funky with the game. And the previous one, 5.5.1, also doesn't work that nicely. It does kind of work, but the most stable one that I found was 5.4.2, as well as the Resident Evil 4 HD project. This HD project does many things, not just give it a nicer look, it also fixes some graphical problems as well, and quality of life things really. You will need the Resident Evil 4 PC port on Steam. What I have is Resident Evil 4, the Ultimate HD edition that Capcom released themselves. It will work for this as well as my Reshade files. And the first thing we're going to do is install Reshade. I have tried installing the HD project first onto the game and then Reshade. Something funky happens and then Reshade doesn't work, or the Reshade doesn't work that well with it for some reason, so we're going to do Reshade first. If you have my zip, if you open up the readme file, you will find the link to the older version of Reshade, which is 5.4.2. And if you visit that link, you will come to the Reshade repository where you get all the old Reshade files. See, you get all the way from 2 to 3, 4, 5, right? So we're going to go into 5. Well, you'll end up here in any case. And then just download 5.4.2. Once you've downloaded the installer, run it. As you can see, I keep all my installers just for depending on the game. Some of the installers work better than others per game. So let's go to 5.4.2 and you'll come on this screen. So you can either wait for the game to actually load. Sometimes it doesn't load over here, the Resident Evil game or icon, the exe. Sorry, the exe. Then what you do is, if it doesn't come up here, just go to browse and go to your Steam apps, common, wherever you've installed Resident Evil 4. Right, and once you get your Resident Evil 4, you go into it, there's two folders. Go to the bin32 and in there will be a bio4.exe. Click on that once and click open, and that's what we're going to install Reshade to. So we click next. This game uses DirectX 9, so we'll choose that one. Next. Over here, just click next. You won't have anything, and if there is, just delete it and then keep it empty and then say next. And then over here you want to select all the effects. So instead of clicking 1, 2, 3, 4, all the effects like this, just uncheck all, and then that button will change to check all, and then you click it again and then it will select all the effects and you click next and just wait for the install to complete. Once Reshade has completely installed itself, you will end up on this page where it says successful. Click finish. Now, for those that are going to be using the ray tracing preset, you will obviously have to go to Pascal Gilcher's Discord and get it from him. And for those that are using the non-ray trace preset, you can ignore this and just skip to the next part. But for the ray tracing, what you will need is version 0.3.3. If you don't have this, just go to Pascal's Discord and you will see all of his versions. Even the oldest ones are all in the download section, so you can still go and get them. You will need this and an optional shader that I'm also using. You don't have to, but it helps ray tracing work a little bit better, is motion estimation. That is also in the download section of Pascal's Discord. If you go here, there's an optical flow version as well as the motion estimation shader. I think this works better than that. So we'll click on that and download this as well. Once you have those two files, open up your install location of Resident Evil. I just on Steam right click on Resident Evil, go to manage and browse local files. You just minimize this. It should pop up. Mine pops up at the back, as I've always said, for some reason. So it'll end up here. And these are your ray tracing files. We'll go into bin32. That's where we installed Reshade. And you'll see a Reshade-shaders folder. Just click into that once, and then you'll find shaders and textures. So we'll go into our ray tracing folder, your 0.33. Here's the zip, and we are going to take the shaders and textures folder and just drag and drop it into this folder. And then the shaders files will go into shaders, textures files will go into textures. So we'll just drag and drop, and it should have copied over. Sometimes it'll ask you to replace whatever file, just replace, that's fine. What we'll also want, like I've mentioned earlier, is the motion estimation shader. So we'll go into that. This one is an FX file. So if you see in textures, there's no FX files here, but the FX files are all in the shaders, right? As you can see, FX. So all we're going to do is just drag and drop it into the shaders folder. Not into this folder, but into the shaders folder. Okay. So that has been copied over. So at this point, I suggest you start the game up. And actually, let's just do that. Let's start the game up. Because at every step, you should start the game up. So in case there's any issues, then you know at what step caused the issue. So let's click play. So when the game starts, and you'll see this top section over here, then you know you've installed Reshade correctly. Don't worry if it's taking long to compile. Sometimes for the first time, especially with older games, it takes a while to... see there, it compiled all the things that needs to compile. Once it compiles everything, then the next time you start the game up, it will be much faster. The default key to open up Reshade is home key, so let's just click that. If you installed it for the first time, you'll come up on this screen. You just click skip tutorial. You don't need to do anything like it. Skip tutorial. And over here, you'll see some files that I failed to compile and effects. And I think these effects, it's just the nature of putting Reshade or the latest Reshade or one of the newest Reshades on older games like this. Some effects won't work. That is completely fine. All we want to see is that Reshade is working and the game is working. So from that, we can just quit. The next step is installing the HD project. You'll come here, read everything so that you are sure that you understand what to do. Even with this guide, we are not going to use Mega because Mega has a 5 gig limit. So after 5 gigs, then you have to wait, I don't know, an hour, 2 hours, something like, it's something ridiculous, and each file is 2 gigs, so we are going to use Mediafire. Here's other torrent versions as well, but if you go to Mediafire, here are all the files that you need. I don't know if you really need this, but just download this as well. So we're going to download everything. When it comes to number 17 here, you'll see there's a zip and a bin. These are the exact same files, so you can decide to either install the bin. I just downloaded the bin version. I downloaded both just to check, but it's the same file. So since everything is bin, download the bin, and 18, 19, 20, all the way up to 18. And as you can see, once you download all the zips, just unzip every one of them. I've just deleted the zips because I've got the files I didn't want to double up. I've just kept the one raw file. You'll see this is just the setup file. All you'll do is click and drag over, which is over there already. Let me just click and drag. They will ask you for a password. So if you go to the site again and go down to installation, they will tell you there's the password. So it's RE4 HD project. So we'll just copy that. It's without the dot. So once we paste in the password, let's just show the password over there. Click OK. There, it's asking to replace the file that I already have. So let's replace it, doesn't matter. Okay, now that all the files are unzipped, just double click on the setup.exe, click yes. You'll come up on this window. Let me just minimize all these other things so everything is a bit more clean. So you'll come up on this window. You'll click next, accept. Well, read first, accept, read first, click next. And then it'll find your Resident Evil install by itself. But if it doesn't, browse again and then go look for it itself. And then just go look for the Resident Evil 4 folder, the main folder outside of everything. So don't go into it, where the bin and the bin 32 and bio 4 is. Just click on that once and then click OK and click next. Say download the up-to-date version of tweaks. Yes, we'll need that. That is for your FOV tweak adjustment. And you have a choice to back up the original files or not. I don't. My internet's fast enough, so if there's anything that goes wrong, I just delete everything and download the game again. So click next, install. Now, this will take some time, right? Don't worry about that. It's just tweaks. So this can take anywhere up to 30 minutes, an hour. 30 minutes. I think it depends on your internet speed, since it's downloading different things. I'll just edit this down until the setup is close to complete. Finally, it's done. I think this time I didn't really time it. I should have. I think it took 15 to 25 minutes to get to the end screen. Well, once everything is completed, you should end up here. Installation complete. You click finish. Now, the second last thing to do is go back into my zip and find the Reshade preset that you want, the ray tracing or the non-ray tracing version. We are obviously going to choose the ray tracing version for this demo, but it's the same thing. As well as open up your Resident Evil 4 game folder, go into bin 32, and then over here, where the bio4.exe is, so what you do is just copy this and paste it in the game folder. And for non-RTGI, it's the same thing. Just copy it and paste it in. And that's it for Reshade. Now, the final thing is the mouse fix. Since this game is, especially on PC, is notoriously bad controls. So, for that, we need to locate the input.ini file or the user, the usr_input.ini file. This is either in your bio 4 folder or the My Documents folder on your computer. So let's first check the game folder. Let's click in the bio 4 folder and see if it's here. Just search for user. Okay, it's not here for me, so we'll go into My Documents, My Games, Capcom, RE4, and here it is, user_input.ini. Open this up with Notepad. I'm using Notepad++, but you can just use normal Notepad. So once the file is open, what this does is it changes the mouse to rotate the player and not just the camera. So we're going to look for this keyboard. Usually there's a gameplay, there's a menus, like the way keyboard is spelled here, ###, keyboard. And it has menus and keyboard, and it has gameplay and keyboard. This doesn't have it. Maybe it's because I haven't started the game up again or changed anything. But we'll get back to this. But once you find this keyboard, okay, this is mine, but this is probably my old file. So this will normally be WSDA. So yours will, look like that. WD. All right. And then just under A, we'll enter once. And we are just going to be copying this. I will put this in the comment section below of this video, because I don't know if I put it in the, I need to update my files, I think. But we'll just copy that. Copy over here, V, and click and save. That's all we need to do, and close everything. Let's get back to the game and we'll start up the game. After you've installed the HD project, when you start up this game like now, a pop-up should come up to say that the exe has been patched. Oh, it's at the back. Okay. So just check your taskbar just to see it hasn't come up or anything like that. It should pop up in front of this, but anyway. So you will get this. Do you want 2x to patch your exe? You say yes. Okay, everything is, it should say that it's successfully patched the exe. Click OK. And the game should load up. Once we're in game, let's just, as you can see, my mouse is actually controlling the player now. So, and sometimes the camera can get stuck, but just to unstuck the camera, I've never experienced this, but you could get that situation. Just aim and then unaim, or what will he say? I'm having a brain fart. Anyway, so for 2 weeks, this is for the FOV. Just tap the F1 key and tweaks should come up like this. As you can see, the first thing that you'll find is the FOV adjustment. We'll activate this, and I think I put mine to like 30 around there, but I mean you can go any amount you want. So over there you can disable VSync. You can do many things here, you know, slide your HUD. This is a fix for ultra wide support as well. And remember to save here at the bottom, otherwise the next time you load into the game, you know, it'll go back to the normal FOV over there. So let's just put it at 40 for now and click save. There's many things that you can change here: the audio, the mouse, your sensitivity with the mouse, keyboard, you know, controller sensitivity as well, frame rate fix, many different things. So you guys can just have a look at that. Click F1 to close it again. The next thing, we'll open up Reshade, home key, and first thing we need to do is, let's just make this thing a bit smaller, is make sure that this is for the non-ray tracing version as well, because it uses MXAO, which also needs the depth of the game. So we'll, in the search bar over here, let's just bring this out a little bit so you can see it over here. We'll type in display and find display depth. Just click on this to activate it, and it should look something like this, right? You should see normals as well as the depth over here. So this is incorrect at the moment. So what we first need to do is deselect this, go into the game options, video settings. All these need to be off, right? Okay, not motion blur. You can choose to play with no motion blur or not. Anti-alias needs to be off. And the color filter also off if you want it to look like my video. You can change this to whatever thing, but it's obviously going to adjust. It's going to affect my Reshade preset. Okay, so that's the only thing that needs to be off, anti-aliasing, right? Once our game settings is correct, we'll open up Reshade once again. We'll click on this edit global processor definitions, and you'll see here Reshade depth input is reversed. Set that to 0 and just click away. If you hit enter, nothing happens. You just have to click away and then let Reshade just reset itself. We'll click back into it just to make sure that the 1 has changed to a 0. It has. We'll also go into add-ons tab and just click on the copy depth buffer before clear operations. And that's it for this tab. Go back into home, search for display again, oopsie, and click on display depth. And as you can see, now it's looking correct. Here's your normals and here's your game display depth. So once that is done, we can deactivate display depth, and we'll click on this little blue, because of the first time that you're using it, it should say Reshade preset. Just click on this little bar over here, drop down should come up, and here you choose whichever version that you want to play with. We're going to choose a ray tracing version. We'll click on this once and click select, and my preset should load up, and this is what all the effects should look like. Now for those people that have ray tracing, I'm sure you know you also have to check that ray tracing's depth is also working correctly. And the way you do that is when you go to the settings panel over here and you find your ray tracing section, Sequent RTGI, the Artquint RTGI. If you go down over here to the lighting channel, this should show you your depth. But as you can see, it's white where it's supposed to be like a gray. Now, it is working, but what's happening is this bloom as well as this tint, for some reason only for this game, affects your ray tracing. So it's kind of like just making it too bright to actually look at. So we just deactivate this, as well as as you can see, it's blue because of the tint, and we'll just deactivate tint for now. And there you can see the ray tracing is working. I can move with the controller. All right. So ray tracing is working, and once you're happy with that, you can click back on none and activate tint again and bloom. And just to make sure that everything is activated, you can just click save again. Because sometimes if you do it too fast, the next time you load up, this could be deactivated. And there we go. We'll just close Reshade again, and your game is set. So this is the end of the tutorial. If you want to see more tutorials like this and other Reshade presets, all for free, I give everything away for free, then maybe subscribe and like the video if this video has been helpful to you. Thanks again. Cheers. Bye bye.